this week. So, Grant, don't mess them up, right? Take good care of these carpets as well. And when we put the seats back in, by the way, we adjusted the seating a little bit. So in the front section, you guys have extra leg room. You're flying first class. Isn't that nice? You got nice room there, Steve, and you guys can kneel and stretch out a bit. You got the little Wi-Fi accessible too. So you're in a good place. Front rows, front seating, first class. Way to go. So just to recap last week we heard the story of the rich man who had a big harvest but small barns. And he says, so what shall I do? And I know what to do. I'll tear down my barns, build bigger ones, and I can store everything up. And then I can say to myself, rest, eat, drink, and be merry. You have plenty for years to come. But that night God said to him, you fool. God called him a name. Remember? Remember he called him a name. Why did he call him a name? Because the man asked the wrong question. He asked himself, what shall, help me out, I do? When the real question is, what would Jesus do? Remember? He was thinking about retirement. He says, am I prepared to retire? Am I prepared for retirement? Do I have enough to retire and to live off on for retirement? That was the question he's asking. And God said, that's the wrong question. The question is not, the word retirement's not in the Bible. The question is not, are you ready for retirement? The question is, are you ready for heaven? Are you preparing not for retirement? Are you preparing for heaven? That's the question for the man, and he asked the wrong question. He asked the wrong question. Every time he's going to get the wrong answer. So God called him a fool, and that tonight his life will demand it of him. Not ready for heaven. Are you preparing for heaven? So the gospel continues along this vein, helping us prepare and think about preparing for heaven. Jesus tells a simple story. He says a master goes on a journey, goes to a wedding, and entrusts his household to his stewards, the manager of the household. The manager's in charge of the caring of the servants and making sure they have enough to eat and drink, not abusing them, beating them. And so when the master comes home and he finds that the steward doing his will, blessed are those servants who are vigilant upon the master's arrival. That's it. Simple story. So let me draw two lessons out of that. Two lessons. There's more, but let's just focus on two to help us prepare for heaven. First, take care of others. Take care of others. For me, it's a good day when I take care of someone else, personally. When I visit with somebody, I walk with somebody, get my dog Maxie with them, play some of it. Take care of someone else personally. To walk with them, beat their sufferings, or wherever they're at, whatever's going on, pray with them personally. I do lots of other things. I got meetings and plannings and writings and other things that are very important and essential to my role as priest and pastor. But every day, I must do that, not only for their sake, but for my sake. And it's a good day. When I look back and say, what's wrong with that day? That's why. I missed out on taking care of someone. So first is take care of others. School starting on Wednesday. Yay, parents say. Great opportunity to take care of others. Those new kids coming. Terrified. They're the ones who they have that look in their eyes like, I don't know if I can make it through today. Take care of them. They're terrified. They don't know anybody. Well, get to know them. Help them out. Show them around. Take care of them. What a beautiful opportunity to take care of others. School's starting. And the parents, too. Worried for the kids, worried about bullies, worried about missing the bus. Take care of them. Help them out. Take care of others. Simple, and it feels so good. Last week I told you a story about Rick Warren. Rick Warren is a pastor, recall, and his wife Kay. 32 years ago when they got married, they resolved to give 10% of their income to the church, to donate 10%, to tithe, the church word tithe. And recall, then the next year they gave 11%, and then 12%, each year a little more, so that today they're giving how much? 90%. You remember that? Good. 90%. They're living on 10%, they give 90% away to take care of others. Where Rick Warren is a pastor, he's kind of like the Billy Graham of our nation these days, but he has the ears of kings and presidents. He's spoken for the United Nations, he's spoken for the Council of Foreign Relations. He's a tremendous influence because from the very beginning he chose influence over affluence. He chose not the good life, but a life that was good. He chose not a life of luxury, but a life with the Lord. A way of life, not just an occasional be nice, do a good deed every now and then, but a way of life, putting his money where his mouth is. So he's a reverse tither. Not keeping 90%, giving away 10%, but the opposite. And taking care of others in a big way, putting his money where his mouth is. When we, it's a humbling moment when we, our prayer for Vision of Faith, our 2020 Vision of Faith, I wrote this prayer, we had others look at it, and we, Mark put it to a song, and we sang it. After a few months, I was looking at it, I said, that's not right. Because there's a line in there, we grow deep, we reach wide, and we share our blessings. And I thought, it's not our blessings, it's God's blessings that we share. What I have is not mine, it's God's entrusted to me to take care of others. Everything I have is not for me, but to take care of others. And that's where I found real joy, giving what I've been given, and taking care of others. So we changed the words. You'll see at the end of Mass, and we singing it. We got it, I think, a little more right now. Taking care of others. That's the first thing. And the rich man, well, he was good at taking care of himself. Not preparing for heaven, but preparing for retirement and taking care of himself. So God called him a fool. So like those servants entrusted with the master's household, take care of others. Take care of others entrusted to you. That's the first. So, well, you might be saying, well, I'm taking care of others, but who's going to take care of me? What about me? So the second lesson is this: take care of others and trust the Lord to take care of you. Take care of others and trust the Lord to take care of you. The story we call, the master came home from the wedding journey, came back, the steward, the manager in charge of the household, he had indeed been taking care of the others and those entrusted to him. And he said, blessed are that servant. And the master then put on an apron, he got down on his hands and knees, and he served the servants. He waited on them. He took care of them. He took care of them. Where you think, oh no, the servant's supposed to take care of the master. No, the master took care of his servants. Isn't that beautiful? Take care of others. Trust God to take care of you. Next month, Mother Teresa of Calcutta will be canonized, declared a saint. Now note, the church does not make saints. All we do is acknowledge what God has done. God has raised up people with grace to show us how much He loves us and His mercy. And Mother Teresa is a wonderful example of God's mercy. She was a young nun. She is a rising star. She can in charge of a school for girls, a private Catholic school in India. But she had a deep desire to take care of not just them, but those who really, really, really needed it. And so she got permission, and she walked out the door and left it all behind. She walked out into the streets of Calcutta with nothing. No place to sleep, no place to go, no resources, no money, no benefactor, simply to take care of the people in the gutter. And that's what she did for 50 years and more, taking care of them and giving them dignity as they lay dying. And she took care of them, and when she died, all she had to her name was a change of clothes, a bowl for eating, and a rosary. Not rich in stuff, but rich in God. So much so that we acknowledge her next month as God taking care of her and giving her a place in heaven. Take care of others and trust the Lord to take care of you. Preparing for heaven. Preparing for heaven. So that's it. Prepare for heaven. That's it. Take care of others. Trust the Lord, take care of you. Simple, huh? Not easy, but simple. But a couple important details. Take care of others, even when it costs you, even when it hurts. or the church word is sacrifice. Take care of others even when they don't deserve it. They probably don't. But take care of them anyhow. Take care of your enemies, not just your friends. Jesus said, love your enemies. Pray for your persecutors. Terrorists, Muslims, whoever, take care of them. Period. And see that our institutions, our school boards and schools, our courts and judges, our governing bodies and councils, see that our institutions that make our society are institutions that take care of the huddled masses yearning to be free, our refugees, that take care of the poor and the unborn, that take care of the 25% of children growing up in poverty. Because that's what a great nation does. It takes care of its least and its last, whether they deserve it or not, no matter what the cost. And if you need a little incentive, well, last month, July, was the hottest month, July, in record, and the second hottest month on record, going back to 1982. Things are getting hotter. But the Bible story tells us, too, things can get a lot hotter if you're not preparing for heaven, taking care of others. Just a little reminder. So one last word. Jesus commands no more of you, his servants, than he did himself. We call Jesus Lord not because he lords it over us. We call him Lord because he serves us. We call him Lord because he suffered and died on the cross and saves us. We call him Lord because he did this for us even though it cost him everything, his glory and honor and power. He did this even though we don't deserve it. He did this even though at times we're his enemies more than his friends. He did this because he loves us. And like that story he told of the master coming back home and finding his servants vigilant and putting on an apron and serving them, the Lord now invites you to share at his heavenly banquet.